What's going on, everybody? Emeka here. Hey, I'm going to answer a quick question from a viewer, and they asked, why am I living down in Mexico? Great question. Short story is, wife is from here. We met in Canada during the Olympics hockey game, and when we got pregnant, she wanted to have the baby down here in Mexico. So it's like, all right. No clue on how long we were going to stay down here or anything like that. Came down here. I just kind of wrapped up working with Vector and Cutco for like 12 odd years. Wrapped up. Like, I just went down to part-time. And, it was... So we didn't really know what we were going to do. I just knew I was going to take over her job when she went on mat leave, and we were going to see what happens. So we came down here with like no plan. We still have a residency up in Canada, but came down here and had a baby and all that. And, we realized that the cost of living here was much lower than we anticipated. That was one plus. And we also realized that, hey, if the cost of living is going to be lower, we start paying off debt faster. See, Vancouver, you got to be making six figures to enjoy yourself. When we went back there, like breakfast, $70, going out for breakfast. So you got to be making some decent coin, and we just weren't making that. So it was like we couldn't enjoy ourselves the way we wanted to enjoy ourselves. But now, once I learned how to make money online and our income skyrocketed, we started paying off debt so much faster. And that was like, I think that was the determining factor for me, that I said, okay, let's give Mexico a go. Meaning I wasn't fighting to come back, oh, let's go back to Canada, or let's move somewhere else out of Monterey. Because I'm not a fan of Monterey at all. They got mountains, they have a beautiful sky and sunset and all of that, and Tim Hortons. But other than that, I can't stand the city at all. It's big, it's dirty as, it's just dirty. It's desert, so it's just dust, and it's just, yeah. I'd much rather be somewhere like Guadalajara, Puerto Vallarta, somewhere along the coast. Not like actually in Puerto Vallarta because tourists, but somewhere along the coast. But when we started running the numbers and we realized that, hey, we're making a lot more now because of the businesses, we can pay off debt a lot faster. I grew up and matured and said, okay, Monterey makes sense. I'm willing to put up with some short-term pain for some long-term gains. Just makes more sense. It makes more sense to stay here in this city than to go somewhere else, get a house there, or whatever the case is. I just know by, sucking it up and dealing with the things I don't like about this place, I'm able to get the family further ahead faster. And that's my number one priority. Getting the family further ahead as fast as possible. And so we're able to do that with the little situation I got set up here. Do we own a place here? No, we just rent this house right now, and it's all good. It's what it is. We'll probably be able to have another baby in this house. I'm thinking maybe, yeah. I would like to, I'd like to get the hell out of this neighborhood. It's not like it's bad or anything like that. We'll talk about safety in a second. Not like it's bad, it's just not for me. It's not, you come from I came from Canada. There's certain things I like, there's just certain expectations, certain qualities of life that I miss, that people who have lived here their entire life don't know. And I guess living back home, I took them for granted. But, whatever. Once again, what's the number one priority? Getting the family further ahead as fast as possible. So I'll suck it up, and we'll deal with it until we're at the right point in time to move either out of this little area. But, hopefully we can move to somewhere, like one of the other places in Mexico that we've talked about moving to. That would be much more nicer, closer to the water, because I miss the water. I've never lived anywhere out, haven't really, any place I've lived, we've lived along the coast. And so, I really miss looking at the ocean and, or having lakes nearby and things like that. So definitely miss that part of back home. But I think anybody who has an opportunity to do this, kind of take themselves and move to another country and live somewhere else for a few months or for a few years, I think that's a fantastic opportunity. You should go with it. There's not loopholes, but there's hoops you have to jump through in order to make things happen. Like, we still have our residency back home in Canada. We still pay Canadian tax there. We don't have to pay Mexican tax here. One of the reasons is because the businesses are, I'm Canadian and bank accounts are Canadian, and you have to get all those things worked out. I've talked to my accountants there. I've met with accountants and tax advisors here to make sure that we're in the up and ups, and we're not breaking any laws or anything like that. But Mexico and Canada, they have a tax treaty, and you only have to pay tax in one of the countries. So it's looking after things like that count. But let's talk about safety. Yeah, it's freaking safe. Okay. The people who end up on the news are like old people in the bad part of town, right? Like, and I've never once worried about my safety. And like, knock on like concrete, because everything's freaking stone here. Nothing is built out of wood. Hate that. Can't stand it, because nothing, like, it's freezing here in the winter and it's too hot in the summer. Because solid stone, and trying to nail something in, like, why don't we have pictures? Because you got to drill holes and then just a lot of work. I don't know. Maybe that's just the Canadian in me, but safety is not an issue whatsoever. I go out by myself all times of night and whatever. Safety is just not a concern here whatsoever. And you cannot let safety be a concern if you're looking at going to somewhere. Of course, if you're going to go to somewhere like, I've heard like South Africa, like Johannesburg and Cape Town. Like, I've heard, I'd be more nervous going there than Mexico. I don't know if any of you are from South Africa, but I've just, from people I've talked to, I've heard that's a little, you got to be a little bit more on edge. When I went to Nigeria, I wasn't concerned about my safety at all there. Of course, I was with my brothers, so. But, safety has never really been a concern of mine here whatsoever. I go to any part of town, and you're smart, right? Lock your doors, and I'm just an alert person most of the time, right? I know what's going on. So, but there's things that I struggle with. The language. 2018, one of my main goals is learning Spanish. Gonna go to school and learn Spanish properly, because that's one thing I know it holds me back. I keep getting the gringo discount. It's not a freaking discount. It's like you pay more for everything, okay? Because they're like, hey, we're going to rip you off, because why not? And hey, I got it. It's business, and it's my bad for not knowing Spanish. And, I know I know the basics, but I can get by. There's some situations I'm like, whatever, all right, or I'll pull out Google Translate, and that'll save me a few times. But it is what it is. Health insurance and all of that. I'm going to do a separate video on my thoughts on insurance and whether or not you should get it. But, I was covered in Canada for a while, and, I was just doing the traveler's insurance. But when we decided to stay here, we switched over, and I got my my Mexican insurance here. And I think for me, Marianne, and the baby, we pay $1,800, just under $2,000 a year for insurance. And that's like, like you need the hospital type of thing, right? Here they have free and private healthcare. So we just go to the doctor, and I think it's like 600 pesos. It's like $40, right? When you go see a doctor or whatever. So it's whatever. But those are the things you just got to be aware when you're going to live somewhere else. You also have to know, how long can you be to your country, and there's certain benefits we've lost because we've been out of Canada or out of BC for so long. But whatever. So things you need to look into. But are we going to be back in Canada? Yes. I don't think this is a place to you raise a family at all. Mexico's too far behind on the times in most cases on things. Just with how fast the world works and everything, Mexico just gets left in the dust because of, their political system and how their government doesn't run anything properly and this and that. And there are a lot of cases like that, a lot of countries like that. And I'm not saying Canada is perfect or America is perfect by any means, but, Canada and America are Canada and America for a reason, and Mexico's Mexico for reasons. So, but are we gonna get ourselves tied down to anywhere? No, I don't think I could. I don't know. We definitely ain't gonna be buying a house anytime soon in Canada. That would just be dumb, because I could see us doing 6 months, but no point in having a house. Then you're just tied to that location. So we'd probably be looking at some investment properties or something. We would do that first in Canada. We wouldn't do that here. I just don't think it would be a smart enough. I don't think the returns would be as good here as they would be back home. Could be wrong on that. We haven't really started looking a ton here yet, but for the type of investments we'd want to be doing, Mexico's not really here yet. And they'd be paying in pesos. Who the hell wants to get paid in pesos? Right? That's one of the biggest advantages. I get paid in dollars, US dollars, but we live on pesos. You can do that. That double, triple, quadruples your income in a way, right? Because your cost of living is so much lower, right? Your expenses are so much lower. So your money goes so much further, so much further. So, if you're thinking of spending some time in another country for an extended period of time, just do it. Stop thinking, just do it. Get your stuff together and get it organized and go for it, because you learn so much about so many things, and celebrating Christmas here and their different holidays, and running that marathon on Sunday, just seeing how they do it, how much more lively it was, and everything. It's crazy, and you're gonna have your challenges and the things that you can't stand, and things that you think are so much better. There's things here that I just absolutely love and can't imagine why Canada hasn't figured this that out or this out or whatnot. But that's with anywhere you're gonna go. You're gonna find things you love and things you hate. So hopefully this answered your question. But let me know in the comments if you have any other questions about my living situation and why we decided to stay down here. But we are here for the time being. I know we're going to be here next for at least one more year, and I don't know, maybe we'll be able to move somewhere a little closer to the water within the next 2 years. That would be the ultimate goal, I think, and I'll just start plugging that into Mariana's head. But hey, it's up to me to bring in the dollars so we can live wherever we want. Guess it's just on me. I just got to make that decision. All right, time to get back to it. Till next time, everyone, take care.